wonderfully. Thank you so much. Everything new. That gives you an idea of what that affirmation was, that I had changed because I didn't want to talk about wrinkly skin. But, oh well. There's a way that God sneaks it all in on us, whether we like it or not, No, nothing hidden. Oh, wow. Wow. That's right. So I am Robert Deen. You know that already. Bob Deen, Dr. Bob. If you want the whole thing, it's Reverend Dr. Robert Alva Deen III. The other two aren't around anymore, so there are not three of me. Don't worry. However, I can tell you, I stand before you representing the world. And I can tell you that because I know about my ancestry. And parts of me, the physicality that I am, as true with you, represents just about the whole world. Everything but Southeast Asia. I've got Celtic background through the Nordic and then into Wales and then over to this country. In this country, we started to mix up with the Cherokee and the Muskogee and the Creek Indians. And by the way, the Creek Indians that I know prefer to be called Indians, not Native Americans, but that's just what they think. So if I'm wrong out there, folks, politically, I apologize. And mixing it up further with some Nigerian folk. So I got a lot going on here, yes. And I'm saying all that to say one thing. When we say there's only one power, one light, one life, and we are celebrating the inclusion of all life here at this place, we mean it. Because you let me in the door. And we let you in the door. One of the joys for me of getting that kind of historic information about my family and my life, and I've been exploring some of the details even more in terms of looking for what these folks before me wrote and said and thought. It's just, it helps me feel more connected to all of life, to the human group that I'm part of. There's an interesting book called Sapiens. And if I don't know why I'm off on that, but I am. Anyway, it's an interesting book to read sometime about the evolution of our species. Because you and I are not here just because we popped out of our mothers a few years ago. We are here due to thousands and thousands of years of evolution to bring us to and create us to be who we are right now. We are not just who we appear. We carry within us the DNA, the history, the feeling, the knowing of thousands of years. And that's why we can say we are for global transformation, because we have the power to do that the way it talks about. By our own personal evolution. So we are an inclusive community. You heard that already. We include all peoples. That is an affirmation and an intention and a desire and a belief that we all hold together to varying degrees. Some of us may be a little more inclusive than others, and that's okay. Because we are all moving toward this great idea of being inclusive of all peoples. I mean, one can honestly say that this center right now is inclusive of several different races and several different groups of people just by the presence of who's here. And because I'm here and you're here. And I don't just represent one, I represent a bunch. I'm proud of every one of them. When I first found out we had a Native American, my aunt told me, she pulled me off to the side when I got to be 18, because nobody would be told this till you got to be 18. She pulled me off to the side and she said, I have a secret to tell you, and I hope it doesn't upset you. Your great-grandmama was a Creek Indian. Hallelujah! I was ready to go to college, so I immediately went to see if I could get any money from that, and I couldn't. We weren't quite that close to the bloodline, but almost. But I was also excited about the history and all of the ideas and the ways in which Native peoples have celebrated life and recognized the strength and indigenous truth of life. Man, I loved it. She was really surprised by my response. Not long after that, we let everybody in the family know, and it became an open thing, not the family secret. Of course, I don't know how she'd feel about knowing some of us came from Nigeria, but, you know, she was a good Southern lady. She might have liked it, and she might not have liked it. But you know what? It's all good. Committed to global transformation through personal evolution. That's the hard part. Personal evolution. Can't I just stick to the way things have always been, please? I love that part in the reading about the land and the water. You know, the water forms the land. Consciousness formed who you are right now. The history, the thoughts, the belief systems you were taught growing up, the belief systems your culture embedded in you as you were forming and taking shape in the world. Yeah, that forms who you are. But that can get to be a stubborn, hard thing to change, right? I'm a Southerner. A lot of stuff goes with that. But believe me, we're not the only ones. I used to live in Philadelphia. They got just as much stuff to work out as we do, believe me. Yeah. So evolution. Evolution is the constant lapping of water against that solid part of our consciousness that doesn't want to change. Those waves that just won't stop. I used to live on the beach in Florida. I was actually right across the street from the beach, and the waves were every day, all day, every moment, all the time. Every so often, I would have to go stay inland somewhere just to get away from that constant poof, 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 poof. And you may feel that way some days, where you're being hit with so much change all around you, and it's just going like this constantly, chipping away at old belief systems, chipping away at the way we used to be, chipping away at what we think is right. That's the hardest one. Would you rather be right or happy? That's right. Thank you. Would you rather be right or happy? Would you rather be right or participating in the global evolution of humanity? Because right now we are in a big shift and change, as you well know. It is happening not just in this country or on this planet. It's happening in the whole system of the universe. The sun is shooting stuff at us it never did before. Other things are happening in the larger system of the development of the expansion of the universe that's never happened before. We got stuff flying by us that we never saw before. You know? All kinds of stuff. So it's new. Everything different. Everything new. Yes. And, you know, we have choices. Human consciousness has both of those elements, by the way, the land and the water. The part of us that doesn't want to change it. Thank God we have it. You know, I think I shared this before. Imagine if we changed every time a new thought passed through us. I'd be fat and skinny, and then really skinny, and then I'd have big muscles, and then they'd go away, and I'd have long curly hair, and then it would be what it is now, or it'd all go away, and it would be happening like that. None of us know what the heck to do with each other. Or what we look like, right? None of that. So it's a matter of recognizing that there's huge value in that stasis, that solid part of our consciousness that holds things. There's equal value in that water that keeps pushing against that and saying, we're going to grow, we're going to change, we're going to evolve. You don't have any choice. You can try to lock yourself down. You've all seen the houses on the beach that have built bigger walls and tried to keep the water back, and they're just falling in the ocean. I'm sad. I'm sorry those people lose their houses, but that's what life does. It changes and moves, and we have to be willing and ready to change, move it if we want to be happy, if we want it to go easily instead of the hard way. I'm sure none of you have ever done it the hard way. No. title of the talk today is Fanning the Flames. Now, I don't know if that scared you when you saw that title. It didn't scare you too bad because we're at a pretty good room full here considering ice and snow and 13-degree high today. I mean, good grief. Of course, it is nice and warm in here, right? Not leaving. So, so we're fanning the flames, but we're not fanning the flames of controversy or fanning the flames of difficulty or fanning the flames of excitement and burning up. We're fanning the flames of truth. I'm trying to fan the flames to get you as excited about this evolutionary growth that we're doing as you are about, oh my God, what's happening out there? What's going to go wrong? What are they going to do to tear things apart next? The land's eroding right out from under us. Not so much here, but boy, Florida's sure facing it. We just, never mind. Different topic. Stay on the topic. Come on, Bob. No, I can't help it. So we've just spent a whole lot of money redoing and cleaning up my parents' grave in Florida. And we had to raise part of it up because it was sinking and part of it fixed. And we got it all done. And as I'm standing there looking at it, the person standing next to me said, well, you know this is all going to be underwater soon. That's okay. We did the honorable thing. I'm not complaining too much about it. You know, we do what we know to do that's right in the moment, but we have to be willing to release that for the next right thing and the next good thing and the next way that we're going to go forward with ease and grace and beauty. One of the most interesting parts of all that to me is based on the old Toltec creation story, which I want to share with you. The Toltec creation story is a different story from Adam and Eve and that story that you've heard, or God speaking and stuff, because it's based on the idea that this creation we live in now is the seventh creation. It's not the first. Yeah, how about that? They believe that we are the seventh creation, not just generation, but creation of the whole planet and everything. And their belief is that, or was, I don't know that there are many Toltecs left today, but the myth was that when it came time to create this seventh creation, all of the gods got together, and there were a bunch of them. Apparently they had gods for everything. And they got together to do the business of creating the new universe. And they gathered around the council fire, which was burning right there, wherever the council fire was burning. I wasn't there, but they were there. They gathered and they talked about we need to decide who and how we're going to create this new universe. And they decided amongst themselves probably the best thing to start with, at least for this solar system, was to create a sun, maybe several suns, but definitely one for this part. And we should do that. And so who's going to do that? Let's talk about how to do that. And they were thinking about it, and they were talking about it, and the gods are gathering around, and all. There was some of them were younger, newer gods, and some were older gods who'd been around a long time. And there was like one god that was just not very well accepted by the other gods. He was the scabby one. He was known as the scabby one because his body was covered in scabs and sores, and to cover it up, he covered himself in straw and burlap kind of fabrics and things that would just keep him hidden. And he would try to get up near the council fire where they were. They kept pushing him back. We don't want to hear from you. And he said, "Well, I'll be the one to create the sun. I can do that." And, no, you're kidding me. Get away. So they pushed him back, and then the shiny one stepped up. This was a young god. This god was fine, man. He had big, strong arms and limbs and legs, and he wore a coat made of hummingbird feathers, and he had wings that had gold and silver on them, and it was just a big crown, the whole thing. He was dressed to be a god, and they went, "Oh yeah, you're the one. Look at you. You'd be perfect for creating the sun." And so they talked about it for a little bit and said, okay. They said, now, okay, well, it's time. We think we're ready, so let's create the sun. How do you do that? It's not hard, certainly not for a God. And the elder of the god said, well, you throw yourself into the fire. The young shiny one said, oh, okay. Because he had to save face. He'd already said he'd do it. So he stepped up 3 times to the fire with all of the courage he could muster, all of the energy he could pull, and each time the heat and the flames drove him back. Each time as he would get close enough, he just couldn't do it. And finally, with his head hung in shame, he stepped back into the back of the group, the back of the circle. And they all kind of looked around, and I mean in a flash, out of nowhere, the scabby one pushed his way through, shoved everyone aside, and dove headlong into the fire. I mean, the flames crackled and burned, and all that burlappy stuff caught on fire, and the shiny one just was horrified. And in his shame and guilt, he jumped in behind him. And out of the fire to this side of the planet, of this side of the sky, the big, bright, beautiful sun came out, and on this side, the moon. And when the gods looked, they said, look, it's the scabby one who created the sun. And the shiny one flickers and shines in reflection of it. And it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. You get the point? The point is, it's our shabby stuff sometimes, our scabby stuff, our pain, our hurt, that we have to toss into the fire of truth, of knowing, of willingness to look at it, surrender it, walk into it, that creates the brightest lights that we are. My ministry of care and service to people who have been harmed or injured, to working all of my life with recovering folks and with folks who've been injured in various kinds of early childhood traumas. That's been my life ministry. That's because I was. And you know what? You come out of that and you heal it, and then you discover how much you have to give to other people. We find our ministries, our givingness, our good, our evolution of changing the world by changing those things in us which we are most ashamed of, most afraid of, and really would prefer to hide. But you got to be willing to step forward. And I know you are, because I know some of your stories. I've been hearing them. I'm so grateful for them. You know, we are here to transform life, to transform bring the next evolution of sapiens into existence. And we can't do that except to deal with our own stuff. We got to do that first. I wish I could fix out there, take care of other people first. But when you try to do that, what happens? You know what happens. It just flies back on you. Just can't do it. Heart won't let you. Won't allow. So we're asking you, and we all shout it every Sunday, to wake up. To what? To who we really are. We are expressions of a divine power, of a divine life, of a divine love, an individual version of it in our own unique ways, with our solidness that says who we are, and with our openness to change that's constantly brushing at our edges. That's who we are. That's who we want you to wake up to. That's who I want you to wake up to. I won't speak for Ahava, I'll speak for me. And show up. That doesn't just mean come here on Sunday morning. It does mean that, or it could mean that. It means show up in your life as the truth of who you are, as that divine being, addressing change, addressing possibility, addressing joy, love, light, all those things. so you can change the world. But you don't change the world out there first. You change the world in here first. If you don't do that, the world out there is changing will just feel terrible and scare you and make you mad and all those things. But if we change in here, the world out there is a whole lot less scary, because it's just struggling to try to find a way. The world is just is the total collective consciousness of humanity. Oh, that ain't pretty sometimes. And sometimes it is. We wake up because we are so good at hiding from ourselves. I'm probably the only one, but you know. I was scrolling through looking for something on YouTube, just looking. I didn't know what I was looking for. I was just scrolling the other day. And then suddenly I made myself stop and put it down and said, "What are you really looking for, Robert?" I'm Robert when I'm in trouble. Robert. And Robert's answer was real clear. I'm looking for some of those things I have lost the belief in my ability to manifest. I can't manifest it, so I want to watch it. I want to watch somebody else doing it. And I went, to hell with that. Put it down. We have the power within us to bring forth into life that which we desire, and that is that which is for our greatest good and highest good. That's who we are. We don't have to find it out there somewhere and watch it and think, well, I wish I could do that. Now, there's some things I've watched that I'd like to do that I ain't going to do, like jump off of a cliff with a pair of wings and stuff like that. I mean, it's not everything can be done, yeah, but I don't necessarily want to be a ballerina anymore, you know. We choose according to what is ours to truly be. Yeah, that's a picture you'll never get out of your mind. So choose. Further over in that reading, Emma says that pick a reality, pick a truth, like divine health, divine heart, divine mind, or like prosperity, or like a belief that relationships are all loving and can be, or that you have the perfect and right and wonderful relationship. Whatever it is, pick one of those and spend your time focused on it, thinking about it, imagining it, and watch when the cracks start to happen in the real world around you, or the unreal world around you, and that truth begins to push out and take shape and take place. You guys have been saying for a long time, we're love, and we embrace all people, and that truth is pushing out and pushing some cracks and pushing against some of our old beliefs about who are all people and how do we embrace them. And that's a good thing, because that means something greater is starting to happen here. And I am all behind you and loving you and supporting you and knowing without a doubt, that you can do what you have envisioned and imagined for yourselves. Because you are amazing and wonderful, and so am I, and so it is. Yeah, come ahead, you were right. Here she comes. Yay. So I had intended to leave more time today so we could do a longer meditation, and I did not do that because I kept talking. So we will still do a short meditation and a treatment around this. Deep breath, letting it go, letting it in, letting it out. Recognizing what is breathing me. Spirit is breathing me. God is breathing me. Yes. I can try to stop it, but God's going to keep breathing me. And I'm grateful for that. And so I bring my attention to my breath. Notice how it feels coming in through my nostrils the coolness. Notice the difference when it goes out. Recognizing the change. I am a center of transformation even for the air that I breathe. Now I invite you to follow your breath as it comes in through your nose and down into your chest. It wraps around your heart. For your lungs wrap around your heart. Yeah. Imagine, if you will, that it not only wraps around your heart, but it draws your attention into your heart. Into that feeling center, that knowing center. That part of you that knows no separation, that part of you that knows no division, that part of you that feels the clarity and the truth of everyone around you, that recognizes the divinity of every person. Whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever they're doing, however they're behaving, whatever their political party, the divine is alive and well within them. And as I see that in my sisters, brothers, my siblings, all of the people of the planet, whatever their gender identification, I see it in myself. I am an expression of the divine, having an individual and wonderful experience of life. I am willing for the goodness that God is to show up as me in my very best self. I am willing to let go of anything that stands between me and the light. I'm willing to toss it into the fire of truth and allow it to burst into flames and disappear and transform me into a brighter light than I have ever been. I am willing to be known. I am willing to be seen in my truth. I am willing to be held by the divine love that surrounds me, the divine love that I'm made of. The divine love that breathes me. The divine love that releases whatever no longer serves me right on out of with my breath. Exhaling that which is not for me. Embracing that which is. It is in this knowing and in this truth that I release this treatment now. Not because it's going to go away, but because I release it into the reality of my life, in my life, as my life. With great gratitude, with great goodness, and with great freedom. With joy, with a deep sense of goodness and love and appreciation. I release this now, letting it be, and so it is. So it is. Thank you all.